just tell me how you came up with the idea for the vintage photo project.
Yeah, well, when we came together as a group and we started thinking about the history of the Cahaba Project and how that's going to continue into the future, I started thinking about how to engage people in appreciating the history of these homes. Um, and also not just to engage people, but to find a way to measure or judge the level of interest in the history of these homes, because not everybody cares about it equally. And so I thought back to when I moved into my house in 1993, and back then it was kind of a tradition for people to have one of these old photos of their home from the property tax archives. And I remember being real excited to get one and frame it and put it on my wall because, I just had a new house and everything. And so it's been up there all these years, and I look at it occasionally, and I do stop and think about what the photo represents to me. So anyway, yeah, this is my house. And so this is the photo that I used to start the project. It hangs in my living room. And when I look at it, I think about how this neighborhood came to be. I think about, I know a lot of people think about the Cahaba Project in terms of, what you see here, all the big beautiful trees in the park and the sidewalks and how beautiful it is. And I agree with all that. Those are great features. But for me, it's more about the history and the sense of community that we have here. I think back to when it started in the 1930s. The country was struggling to find a way out of the Great Depression. And the New Deal was the solution that the federal government came up with as a way to provide employment it provided employment for people on all levels of society, because it was employing the architects and the landscape designers, all the way down to the carpenters and the brick masons, plumbers and electricians. So it was great on that level, but on an even another level, they were building homes, and they were providing a place for people to live, because the same people that were being put to work, had struggled with the economic situation, and there were people who were probably living with relatives or living in subpar housing because they had they just couldn't pay their rent. So this was a great opportunity for people. And I think about during the period of time when they were building all these houses, the people who were, just sitting there watching and waiting and filling out their application just to get a chance to come here and be a part of it. And then when they opened it up, and there's 287 families basically all coming here at one time. Each one of them as an individual or with their family, they were setting off on a new life. But then they were also coming here with people who were struggling with the same things that they had been struggling with, and sort of collectively coming together as a community. And then shortly thereafter, very quickly after that, the country was plunged into World War II. And so that same sense of community was even more important in helping get them through that period of our history. And so when I look at the house and I look at how it looks brand spanking shiny new, I think about that time, and I think about the community, the sense of community that was developed, that I feel sort of still carries on here to today.
So going about this project for the project, so to speak.
Mhm.
What did that process? What has that process involved for you to get all these photos?
Right, right. So, you know, as I said, I thought it would be just a, kind of an experiment to put it out on our neighborhood Facebook group. And I think I posted it and just had a simple statement, who has one of these photos? Um, so there were a few people who said, yes, I do. But there were many, many more who went on there and said, no, I don't have one of these photos, but I would really love to have one. And so that was where I got the idea to see if I could get photos for the group. And I knew there would be several. That was what I said, several. But there were a lot more than several. It's just a tidal wave of interest, and you know, it's been reaffirming for me that the pride in this community is still there. So you know, there were some logistical challenges of getting them all collected and distributed, and that's still ongoing. But it was so worth it to me to see how people responded to it, and I think the number that we are at right now is 106. So, you know, that if you combine that with the people who probably already had a photo, you know, it's easily a third of the neighborhood. It's probably more like 40 or 50% of the neighborhood now, and that's really a cool thing.
Yeah. So. Why do you think doing a project like that, taking it on, why is that important?
Oh, well, to continue the pride in the neighborhood and the awareness of the history that we have here. And I think that's so important as we approach this moment in time, because I feel like, you know, since we've come together as an organization, and we have opportunities now to talk about the history, we also have an opportunity to talk about how do we carry that history and that appreciation of history into the future of the Cahaba Project. And so this awareness is going to really be helpful in getting people to slow down and think a little bit about what we have here. So that's what I think is great about it.